Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Master Sergeant George Father, and I'm a trombonist with the Air Force Band of the West, stationed at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. And it's really my pleasure to be with all y'all here with us today. We're surviving Snowmageddon down here, but life's still good. It's nice to be here doing something musical, still being able to get out and reach out to you all. I've got several colleagues that are going to join me today to help present this concert to you. I've got Senior Airman Tim Guidry, trumpet player in our band. Wave and say hey, Tim. I've got Senior Airman Ed Kneckel, pianist with the band. Say hey, Ed. And there he is. And then I've got Senior Airman Jason Galbraith, saxophone supreme. So, like I said, it's our great pleasure to be with you today. The whole goal of this is to be as interactive as possible with you. So, if you got questions, please don't be shy about putting them in the comments, and we'll respond to your questions as they can come in. And I know you've already been asked where you're tuning in from, so love to hear all about that. So enough for me. Let's get on with the show. The next piece that you're going to hear it really needs no introduction. So let's just roll right in. Well, thanks again for tuning in. That tune, of course, the famous "In the Mood," but as done by the Tonight Show Band. So kind of spice it up a little bit with that. And some of the fine gentlemen you see on the screen were some of our featured soloists. Tim Guidry was laying it down there in the section. Ed Knekel on piano, and Jason, fine saxophone soloing on that last tune. I got a couple shout outs to make. It's great to see former Air Force Band Chief Master Sergeant Ledoux on with us. Thanks, Chief. Great to see you. We've got viewers on with us all the way from Puerto Rico to Canada and Hawaii. So wow, just all over the place. Thanks so much for joining with us. As I mentioned earlier, we'd like this to be as interactive as possible. So if you've got any questions, please roll them in, and we'll answer the questions as they come up. The next thing that we'd like to do is kind of move directions a little bit to a smaller group that we've got of ours, and that is Night Watch, and they're doing the classic Dvorak tune, Slavonic Dances, opus number 6, opus 46, number 8. So we hope you enjoy some Dvorak. Hey, welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are the Band of the West from the United States Air Force Band down in San Antonio, Texas. I've got another shout out to make. Chief Master Sergeant Gail Tucker. Hey, Chief. I had the great pleasure of serving with her when we had a band up in Alaska. One of my favorite assignments ever. So really great to see you with us. That last piece was a Dvorak, of course, featuring one of our woodwind quintets. And we're going to be taking a tour around many of the fine performing ensembles that we have here at the Band of the West. We had a question roll in about how long are we stationed for an assignment. and that really can vary from person to person. I can tell you personally, over my career, it's been 3 to 4 years. I had 2.5 years in Boston, then I had 3 years in Alaska. I had another 3 at Offutt in Nebraska, and I had 4 years in Germany before my getting stationed here at Texas. And I've been in Texas a little bit over 2 years now. I have some of the other fellas tell you a little bit about their assignments. How about I can answer that actually. They've all only been here in Texas. I'm the only one that's moved around that much. Typically, over the course of a career, a person has 3 assignments. Their first station, and then they'll go overseas, and then they'll come back. That's the typical. But you can see everything from something like my career to there are a few examples of a person who has 1 assignment over the course of their entire career. So thanks for that question. It's a great question and kind of a challenging one to answer because it can totally run the gamut. So moving on, we have another really cool woodwind quintet piece that we would like to feature. Now, one of the interesting things about us being in COVID and having to work from home is that it allows us to do more collaborations in our unit with other musicians than we would typically get to do. So this next piece, Un Poco Loco, from the movie Coco, Dr. Seuss would be so happy. The Woodwind Quintet actually utilizes several other members from within the unit. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy Un Poco Loco.
What color is the sky? I'm your Maud, I'm your Maud. You tell me that it's red. I'm your Maud, I'm your Maud. Where should I put my shoes? I'm your Maud, I'm your Maud. You say put them on your head. I'm your Maud, I'm your Maud. You make me un poco loco, un poquitito loco. The way you keep me guessing, I'm nodding and I'm yesing. I count it as a blessing that I'm only un poco loco. That you make me, it is just un poco crazy. The sense that you're not making, the liberties you're taking, leaves my cup ever shaking. You are just un poco loco. Un poquitito loco.
Thanks again for tuning in. We're the Air Force Band of the West. I got a couple questions that I'd like to throw out to our viewers now. Who is your all's favorite classical composer? I can tell you mine, I can't help it, I'm a brass player, is Gustav Mahler. But if you've got a favorite, we'd love to know. Let us know who your favorite is in the comments. I did see a question roll in that about when we might be getting back to doing live performances out on the road. And I can tell you that we're all itching to do that. We miss playing live in front of people. There's just an energy that's really hard to replicate any other way. And we miss it terribly. Yeah. fellow brass player, loving trumpet, love it. So our goal is honestly as soon as possible, but I can tell you we tentatively have a few things scheduled in July. And right now they're just local in Texas. because it's really hard for us to get out as far as we would like to. But gosh, we really hope to be able to expand that farther out. If things go well in July, who knows? Maybe by the fall, the time the fall hits, we can be out amongst the communities again. So here's hoping, right? Thanks for the question. The next piece is really interesting, and I say interesting because I wrote the arrangement, so of course I think it's interesting. It's one of my favorite pieces. I never had a chance to really get to play it. It's originally for orchestra. It's from an old Steven Spielberg movie. The tune is "Cadillac of the Skies," and it's a nickname for one of the old Air Force fighter planes, the P-51D Mustang, which was flown by the Tuskegee Airmen. So I wrote this arrangement. And recorded it and did all of the work at home. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask, and after you see the video, I'll try my best to answer about how I did all that. But I wanted to pay tribute to the amazing heritage that we have as airmen musicians, and the Tuskegee Airmen are a huge part of our heritage and history. So between the beautiful music and it being about the Mustang P-51D and the Tuskegee Airmen, it just felt like the perfect match to me. So I hope you all enjoy my rendition of Cadillac of the Skies. Thanks so much. I'm gonna to hand it over to Senior Airman Galbraith, who's gonna tell you a little bit about what's coming up next.
Well, what did you guys think of that one? Definitely that tuba had a very plane-like quality to it. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you're just tuning in, we are the United States Air Force Band of the West, stationed at Joint Base San Antonio at Lackland, and we're putting on our virtual concert. It's as good as it gets today, unfortunately, with things the way they are. I am the music director and saxophonist for Dimensions in Blue, which is our jazz ensemble. And that last selection, if you're just tuning in, was entitled Cadillac of the Skies. And to me, it's a great example of the ingenuity, flexibility, and innovation of both our airmen past and present. And this current season that we're in, as we find ourselves as a nation, it causes us to look beyond how we traditionally and normally do things, especially as a band, to carry out our mission. And so turning to the means that we have, technology, and able to cultivate new opportunities, we strive to implement processes to adapt and overcome. As the band, we think of ourselves as a representation of the Air Force as a whole. And, that opportunity to adapt and overcome, I feel like is showcased in the piece that Sergeant Father just did. His single-handed rendition of Cadillac of the Skies. So please, if you enjoy what you're hearing, please comment. I also have a question for our listening audiences. If you've seen the Band of the West or any Air Force band live, what's a favorite tune that you guys remember from one of their live performances? So we'll go ahead and continue on with our program. And here's our clarinet quartet, Mission Winds, and here's their interpretation of Contradanza. I'm always impressed by those clarinets. We're going to go ahead and move on to another tune that features one of our clarinetists that you just saw, Technical Sergeant Denise Cardona Santos, and she's going to be featured with the Peruvian Air Force on a tune entitled Estrejo Festejo.
Hey, thanks again for tuning in with us. We're the Air Force Band of the West, located down in San Antonio, Texas, and it's wonderful to be here with all of you today. Um, if you're just tuning in, that was um our own Technical Sergeant Denise Cardona Santos from Puerto Rico, wonderful clarinetist with the band, and that was a joint partnership that we had done with the Peruvian Air Force. Um, I've had two fantastic assignments overseas. One in Alaska, where we toured all over the Pacific, uh, and the other in Germany, where we toured all over both Europe and Africa. And one of my favorite things that I've gotten to do in the Air Force are these building partnership missions, where we go out to a large variety of other countries, and we work oftentimes with their embassies to put on concerts that really show our partnership, building those relations with those other countries, and it's those are really special times. Um, it goes really hand in hand with what our mission is at the Band of the West, and really as Air Force musicians in general. And that's to honor, inspire, and connect. And we hope to do all three at every concert. We're honoring our those who've come before us, veterans. Hopefully, we're inspiring all of you in the audience with the music we play, and we want to connect on a deep and meaningful way with all of you. I feel so honored to be part of that and carrying that tradition forward. Speaking of ways that we connect, we do a lot of work in our schools, both with Music in Our Schools months, which is, I believe, happening next month in San Antonio, or in Texas anyway. But it happens all over the country, and Air Force bands all over the country support that initiative, performing in the schools to inspire and connect with the children. And this next selection by our rock band was for Red Ribbon Week, where we go out to our local schools and give them the message of staying off of drugs and helping push that message out. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy Break My Heart by our rock band Top Flight.
I've always been the one to say the first goodbye. Had to love and lose 100 million times. Had to get it wrong to know just what I like. Now I'm falling. You say my name like I have never heard before. I'm indecisive, but this time I know for sure. Hope I'm not the only one that feels it all. Are you falling? Center of attention, you know you can get whatever you want from me. Whenever you want it, baby. It's you and my reflection. I'm afraid of all the things it could do to me. If I would've known it, baby, I would've stayed at home. Cause I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I know that was the end of it all. I should have stayed at home. Cause now they're gonna let you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? Oh no, I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I know that was the end of it all. I should have stayed at home. Cause now they're gonna let you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? I wonder when you go if I stay on your mind. You can play that game, but you win me every time. Everyone before you was a waste of time. Yeah, you got me. Center of attention, you know you can get whatever you want from me. Whenever you want it, baby. It's you and my reflection. I'm afraid of all the things it could do to me. If I would've known it, baby, I would've my heart.
Thanks again. That was our rock band Top Flight. And I'd like to pass it off to our pianist, Dr. Senior Airman Edward Kneckel, to tell you a little bit about the next bit.
Hey, everybody. Well, greetings and thanks for spending some time with us tonight for this Band of the West production. Hello to everybody from Pensacola, Florida, all the way to Paris, Texas, and beyond. I see people from Hawaii and Canada there. This is really amazing, and thank you for spending your time with us tonight. We're so glad to field your questions and share the gift of music with you all tonight. You know, I hope you did enjoy that particular selection from Top Flight. There are some really cool comments in the chat section about the production value of that video and that music selection. So yeah, you might have heard some Ableton in there. That was Staff Sergeant Cody Peterson on the keyboards, and he also utilizes MainStage, and he really gets into the nitty-gritty to replicate the synthesized sounds that you are going to hear on the radio in your top 20 Billboard charts of today. So they really work hard, and it always amazes me to the level of musicality that you will find in players of the Band of the West and the Air Force bands in general. And it's really a joint force operation too. Staff Sergeant Bobby Wolf there on guitar is a former active duty Army musician, and he went from green to blue. And you might have also seen a familiar face in the fog there. That was our own Senior Airman Jason Galbraith, instrumentalist extraordinaire on the electric bass, and he can really hold it down on so many levels. So amazing talent in this band. I'm so glad to be part of it. And I want you to know there also are other people in this band that have come from different branches. So we have Staff Sergeant Nicole Pompey, who you would have seen in an earlier production on bassoon. She comes to us from the Marines. And myself, I have Army National Guard experience. While I was teaching the public school system in Connecticut, I was part of the 102nd Army National Guard Band up there. I was in the 257th in Washington, D.C., and the 29th Let's Go Army National Guard Band in Virginia. But it's been a great experience as pianist with the Band of the West, for sure. Our next selection I'd like to segue into is going to be an homage to our national parks, and it will feature the ensemble Freedom Brass. And in it, you'll hear also a narration by who is considered one of the founding fathers of national parks, John Muir. And it's a reflection on the power of being out in nature, of reflecting on our lives and the gift of what it is to be alive, and the gift of making music as well. Now, yes, that's right, Jarrell Cavender, Marines. And let me tell you, she doesn't mess around. And it also features an arrangement by our own staff arranger, Staff Sergeant Justice McKenzie, of a tune from the 1979 film, A Muppet Movie. And while you listen to this selection, we would love to hear about a memory you perhaps have of going to a national park, maybe with family or friends or by yourself. Or if you even want to go there, maybe who your favorite Muppet character is. And I'll put myself out on a limb. I want to see when I come back after this selection, if you can guess who my favorite Muppet character is. So anyway, up next, we hope you enjoy, is Rainbow Connection, featuring Band of the West's Freedom Brass.
Walk away quietly in any direction and taste the freedom of the mountaineer. Camp out among the grass and gentians of glacier meadows, in craggy garden nooks full of nature's darlings. Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares will drop off like autumn leaves. As age comes on, one source of enjoyment after another is closed, but nature's sources never fail.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that arrangement. That was a beautiful arrangement by Staff Sergeant Justice McKenzie and fantastic performance by Freedom Brass. Thank you for joining us on this Band of the West production tonight. Well, we saw quite a few in the chats here, quite a few names come up as far as your favorite Muppet characters. Kermit, of course, Swedish Chef, Sam Eagle. The two craggy old guys in the balcony always cracking jokes there, the peanut gallery. Well, my favorite character, of course, is Ralph. I mean, he's a pianist, so how can you not love him? Well, that particular selection and also some great comments in here. Thank you, Carrie Beth, about mentioning your fantastic memory there at Yosemite. You know, this past selection featured a letter by John Muir, and he was the driving force that really established Yosemite National Park as a national park there. And he had something really beautiful to say about nature and about nature providing beauty and creating a place to play and pray, where he said, where nature may heal and cheer and give strength to the body and soul alike. And tonight we're talking about the power of music as an extension of your U.S. Air Force. And, there's a statistic that came out not too long ago that said, over 80% of Americans believe music is essential in unifying our communities. And in so many ways, music is a rainbow connection. And, it has an incredible power to bring a positive experience to our world and heal the soul. And the U.S. Air Force has a mission to share music with the communities around us, with honoring those who have served, with those who are serving now, both locally and overseas. And we are totally looking for new musicians too. We have vacancies for vocalists, for instrumentalists, and for audio engineers. And I just want to repeat that again, so you can share with your friends and family and neighbors. The Air Force bands are looking for qualified vocalists, instrumentalists, audio engineers. And if you know somebody who fits this criteria, who is an outstanding, outstandingly qualified person in these categories, if they're between the ages of 18 and 39, send them our way. You can go to the website that lists all of the vacancies and upcoming auditions at www.music.af.mil. And once you're there, you can click on upcoming vacancies, upcoming auditions, and vacancies to see what's posted on the calendar. And we hope you send someone our way. We are looking for some of the top musicians in this country. And you can already see, hopefully, by some of the selections you've heard, what the outstanding musicianship is like in this band. Well, moving on, I want to go to someone who is also an instrumental extraordinaire, and that is Tech Sergeant Nick Daniels. He has created an amazing composition, an amazing song. He's both a singer, he's a vocalist with the Band of the West, and he's an instrumentalist. And he is paying tribute to a kind of an unsung group in the Air Force. And those are the United States Air Force maintainers. These are the men and women who make sure that the planes are loaded and ready to go with all sorts of cargo. It's a busy, demanding, and oftentimes dangerous job. And he's paying tribute. He actually came to the bands from being a maintainer himself. And, and they're working hard during these challenging times to keep our planes flying. So this song, again, is performed and composed by our vocalist, Tech Sergeant Nick Daniels. We hope you enjoy the high-flying musical alacrity of One.
When I left home, I left it all. I left my family, my friends, those long weekends. I left it all to give myself a better chance to prove I'm who I say I am. Left it all. When I left, there was no going back. Said goodbye, kissed my mama on the cheek, and I looked my daddy straight in his eye. I said, this is my life, and I'm gonna do something. Gonna give it my all and be who I can be, and show the world just what I see. Left it all. I'm working all week and making ends meet. I'm down here breaking my back every day, so you know my name. And when it's all done, I'll be the only one. I'm gonna shine brighter than any other light in this great big sky.
The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender.
You are about to embark upon the great crusade. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you.
I'm working all week and making ends meet. I'm out here breaking my back every day so you know my name. And when it's all done, I'll be the only one. I'm gonna shine brighter than any other light in this great big sky. I'm gonna shine brighter than any other light in this great big sky.
Wow, what a talent, huh? With Technical Sergeant Nick Daniels. My name is Tim Guidry, and I'm a trumpet player here in the band. It's really good to be with you guys here tonight, and we're glad that you could make some time to be with us and to just connect with each other in a time when it's really hard to do that. So we're glad you could be here. As a trumpet player, one of the really amazing things that I have the honor of doing is going out to our local cemetery and some cemeteries in the area and rendering taps for our fallen brothers and sisters. It's a huge honor. It's I think the most important thing that I do on a regular basis. And it's a huge honor. And I know that there are some trumpet players out there watching. So if any of you have ever played taps, rendered taps at a funeral, I'd love to hear about your experiences with that. Let us know in the comments. And for this next song that we're gonna play for you, this is from the famous movie Saving Private Ryan, which John Williams did the soundtrack to, the great John Williams, one of my favorite composers. So the next selection that we have is to honor our fallen brothers and sisters. This is Hymn to the Fallen by Night Watch.
My name is Master Sergeant Jorge Cortijo, and I was a member of the United States Air Force Honor Guard from 2006 to 2011. The mission of the Air Force Honor Guard is to represent airmen to the American public and the world. A ceremonial guardsman's primary mission is to provide military funeral honors at Arlington National Cemetery. As a body bearer, I had the rare privilege to lay to rest our comrades from World War I and II, Korea and Vietnam, as well as active duty members who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. As body bearers, part of our motto is, "We will be the last to let you down." This was the most significant realization I had as a young airman serving in that capacity. You see, when you are born, your mother is the first to hold you in her arms. That person will nurture you until it is your time to nurture and develop others. When we serve in uniform, our service is not over until our last dying breath, oftentimes long after we retire or separate. When we die, a ceremonial guardsman gets the privilege to carry our remains to its resting place. They are truly the last to hold you, the last to let you down. From the warm embrace of a mother to the final grasp of a casket, a member of our military serves unconditionally and selflessly. Memorial Day allows us to reflect on the story of each and every military member of our U.S. Armed Forces and the lives they led between that first and last embrace.
So we're reaching a time in our program where we're almost finished here. We only have a couple more tunes to share with you, but we'd like to take this time to thank those people who have made it possible to get this production to you. Specifically, we'd like to thank the National Naval Aviation Museum, the Pensacola Harley-Davidson, Pensacola Humane Society, and Visit Pensacola. They played a big role in getting this to you, so thank you. We had a question in the chat about what your favorite instrument is that you didn't play, and that's a pretty tough one. Maybe we'll ask everyone here, and I'll go first. I think if I had to choose, I would choose trombone, because it's just a very silly instrument, and I like its vibe. So what about you guys? How about Senior Man Galbraith? What do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think at the moment, probably bass clarinet. Yeah. How about you, Senior Airman Knekel?
Hey, well, I always wish that I was a lot better at the drums. They always tell me that piano is actually a percussion instrument. And, I would always come across these great piano players that started off as drummers. And I often think I might be a lot better if I started off on drums.
I've got to go with the electric bass because it's just so cool, especially when they use like an octave pedal to get those really deep tones or just like vibrates your soul. Yeah, maybe it's the bass trombonist in me, but electric bass.
Yeah, and we would love to hear from you too what your favorite instrument is, if you play an instrument. Chief Ledoux, the mighty trombone, yes. We have flute here. Would have loved being a lead trumpet player. Me too, Chief. Awesome. Well, let us know what your favorite instrument is. We'd love to know. So we only have 2 more selections now. The next selection that we have for you is a really, really amazing arrangement of Amazing Grace. And it's going to be played by our jazz band here, who's presenting to you now, Dimensions in Blue.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. Oh, precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you, Margaret, for that really touching comment. We hope that we're really reaching y'all and connecting with y'all and making tonight just a little bit better than it would have been without us. So now we come to a point in our show that is one of my favorites because I grew up coming to Air Force Band concerts because my dad was actually an officer in the Air Force Bands. So I came to these concerts all the time. And this is probably my favorite part, where the next and last selection that we have for you is the Armed Services Medley. And usually when we're out and about and performing for y'all, we do this really neat thing where we ask you if you've had anyone who in your family or a friend, or even maybe you adopted a service dog who used to serve. So we ask if you have anyone, and if you do, put it in the comments. Usually what we would do is we'd ask them to stand for their service song. But for now, we'd love to hear if you have dads, moms, brothers, sisters, anything who have served in which branch they served in. So we'll finish up tonight with the Armed Services Medley.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet
Well, thanks very much for tuning in with us for this virtual concert today. It was fantastic to see so many veterans and shout outs for those you know and love who've served. We couldn't be where we are without the service and dedication of all those professionals, and we truly stand on the shoulders of those giants. So thanks, and God bless to all you who've done that and have family members who've served. Once again, we are the United States Air Force Band of the West, located down in San Antonio, Texas, and it was our great pleasure to be with you all today. We've got one last piece that that we'd love to close all of our concerts with. This is Stars and Stripes. Thanks, God. Thanks again, y'all.
Thank you.